Harry Maguire, not surprising this for me, stripped of captaincy. Have you ever seen someone stripped of the captaincy then leave the sentence that he laid? It's 4 paragraphs.
Well, it was weird that he was the person who broke the news. Like it was Harry Maguire who told us that he was no longer Manchester United captain, which I think on some way is decent. On some way it's brave. I think having the captaincy of Manchester United is an honour, and the fact
who
that
should tell us?
Well, often these things will come from either the club or news outlets.
Okay.
It doesn't generally come directly from the player. You know, there's certainly a world where it would filter via the comms communication department at Manchester United into outlets like this. And
do you think people would spin it too much, and that's why he wanted to almost get ahead of the curve? Like if it came out tomorrow from a news outlet, say we kind of released it, for example, and said Harry Maguire stripped of the captaincy, automatically I'm saying that means he's gone. That means he's leaving, and he's almost wanting to spin it and get ahead of it, saying, "Well, I've not gone. I'm going to stay and fight for my place," as opposed to what I would say.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's going to happen here, though. I think the fact that he has been stripped of the captaincy, or the captaincy has been removed from his arm. Firstly, I imagine it's quite liberating for Harry Maguire, because there's no way that he was ever capable of wearing that armband. When you think about the weight of that armband, what that armband represents, it was far too heavy. It was far too cumbersome for Harry Maguire to take hold of, really. It wore him, didn't it? It wore him down. It wore him out. It was problematic for him. So I think on one level, it's probably good news. But I think on another level, it effectively means that his Manchester United career is over, in all but name.
So you think the only reason he's still at the club, or was at the club, was because he was club captain? Like, now that that's gone, there is no more, you need to be here.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to be there on any level. I think Harry Maguire would also, maybe not publicly, but I think he would also have to acknowledge that his career has stunted, the growth of it has stunted.
Yeah.
He desperately needs a new challenge. He isn't capable of playing for a club of the stature of Manchester United, and I think he needs to find a new home as much as Manchester United need him to find a new home.
Yeah, I mean, it was done for me when Ten Hag played Luke Shaw instead of him.
Yeah.
When you play a left back, who's never played centre back, in front of your centre-back, who's centre-back for England and the club captain, it's over.
Do you know where else? I mean, there were many moments where it looked over. I mean, like the game where they played away at Istanbul, where he was all over the place. Do you remember when Tottenham scored 6 at Old Trafford? He was just completely all over the place. But there was a moment where it just became so apparent that he was nowhere near Manchester United quality, and that was when Erik Ten Hag, who has been incredibly brave in the Manchester United role, any big issue that has befallen Ten Hag, he has got it spot on. Think of everything that he's had to deal with. The Cristiano Ronaldo issue, ushering Cristiano Ronaldo out of the club. I think he got that right. I think everything that he has had to deal with, he has got right. I think dropping Maguire and stripping him of the captaincy has been correct. But the moment where I realised that he really was a good manager, Ten Hag, and it was also over for Harry Maguire, was when he decided to do the brave thing, and that is drop Harry Maguire and bring in his own man, Lisandro Martinez. At the time, it would have been so easy for Erik Ten Hag to hide behind Harry Maguire. He would have been able to hide behind him and say the mistakes made by Harry Maguire that were costing them points were not his fault. They were not his responsibility. He was given Harry Maguire. It was a previous mistake. He was the club captain, and what could Erik Ten Hag do? Instead of that, he was really brave. He dropped him, he brought in his own man. So if it hadn't have worked for Lisandro Martinez, it would have all been on Ten Hag. The mistake would have been Ten Hag's. So it was a really brave decision, and I think he's handled this right. It is time for Harry Maguire to leave. The problem will be finding a suitor. How do you get him out the club?
Did you just stamp your feet?
I did, because I just think it's going to be so...
Boom,
that's how passionate I am about this. It was even a foot stomper. I don't see how they get him out the club, realistically.
No, like West Ham, we know, have tried to get him on loan, which is a bit cheeky.
Yeah, but getting him on loan doesn't do Manchester United any favours whatsoever.
But the problem for look, it's not a Ten Hag problem, but it's a club ownership problem that he cost £85 million, and you're not going to get half that for him.
The other problem is, Addy,
what's he worth?
He's worth 35
million.
In a fair market, I think he's worth 35. But the other problem that they're going to have is Harry Maguire is earning 200 grand a week, right? He's earning 200 grand a week. The clubs that he is being reportedly linked with, right? The kind of club that he could go to. Let's just, like, case studies here, potential. He could go to Aston Villa, he could go to West Ham. They're the kind of club that would potentially benefit from his services. They're going to pay him 100 grand a week, which effectively means that Harry Maguire is going to be down about 10 million quid. So maybe it comes to the situation arises where Manchester United will have to pay him off. to get him out of the club, because there's nothing in it for him to leave. He'll end up having to take a huge hit on his salary.
Yeah, there isn't it. We said there's nothing in it. You play football.
Yes.
You play football. That's big. Again, I mean, we look at these Premier League players. He's a millionaire. He's okay. I mean, you're right, though. It's a massive hit. But do you want to play football or not? Do you want to sit on the bench and lose your place to a left back or Lindelof sometimes? Or do you want to go somewhere where you're going to play week in, week out? There's going to be no more debate about you shouldn't be in the England squad, although I still don't think you should.
But the trouble is, the only reason I think he gets in the England squad is because he's at a club like Manchester United. I think Manchester United give him this prestige and the platform.
I think if he goes Tottenham, he's fine. I think if he goes Tottenham, he's in that England squad.
No,
and I think
do you know how many goals he'd concede? Like, suddenly his defensive fragility would be so apparent. He would look so fragile suddenly.
What do you do then? You just sit on the bench because someone's going to pay you half? I don't go and play football.
So what is a better situation? Being the fourth choice centre half for Manchester United and playing, you probably still play what? In all competitions, 15 games a season.
Maybe
you'd feature in any dead rubber Champions League games. Yeah. You'd feature in all League Cup games. You may feature in some early FA Cup games, and here and there in the Premier League. Is that a better career option?
Yeah.
Than playing for West Ham United, who could potentially be languishing around mid-table?
Surely it's West Ham. Well, you're West Ham. You're in Europe. You're playing week in, week out.
Is playing week in, week out? Look, I don't know the answer to this. I really don't. But I think if you're a professional footballer, there's something amazing about playing for Manchester United, isn't there? Just think about playing for Manchester United.
You're not playing.
You are. You are. I'm not playing. I don't play for Manchester United. He would play. A season. Yes, that is playing for Manchester United.
You've gone from being the captain of the club. So you've gone. Think about what he came in. You've gone from costing 84 million, 85, whatever it was, captain of the club, playing every single game, to being stripped on the bench, and we can give you dead rubbers.
So do you think that it's a better option for Harry Maguire to go and play for David Moyes in the Europa League for West Ham United?
Yeah. As it was for Kurt Zouma, others as well. I mean, look, obviously Declan Rice is a different case study. Declan Rice was in the England squad when he was at West Ham.
Yeah,
it's a superstar, don't get me wrong, but he was there. It wasn't like that held him back from getting into the England squad.
No, but you've picked the one.
Jarrod Bowen's in the England squad, or has made the squad. West Ham as well.
Yeah, look, I think the reason why I don't think that he will play isn't because of being at West Ham. The reason I don't think he'll play for England is because
he'll get exposed.
He isn't good enough. Yeah, it's because overall he's good.
Some big clubs though. I mean, look, he's not going to go Villa because they've just got Pau Torres. But I think Tottenham. I mean. We've had so many Tottenham guests on, and they actually say they'll take Maguire over what they've got right now.
I think it's a fairly uninspiring transfer. For
them. Yeah, that won't even get a video.
It's a fairly
they won't
uninspiring.
Even get a video, mate.
When you think about, particularly West Ham United, you know, the fans are on the crest of a wave at the moment. They're feeling really optimistic about the new season. They've won their first trophy since 1980, and I think Harry Maguire has become a little bit of a punchline. Like when you think about the man that he is, when he's spoken at Manchester United, he's so not that kind of player. He's not that personality on the pitch.
Yeah, not for United. Not for United. And you said it again, we're talking the biggest club in world football. You take a couple of steps down the rung, he might be the vocal character we're thinking in a team where there isn't that kind of pressure, where he's not going to be club captain.